you're not seeing him is he's redshirting this year, but he is all of 7'9". That's a little too easy for the Gators, and a foul on Martin.
That's that toughness and Ziegler on down the line.
Yeah.
A league full of older, good, big point guards.
Yeah, more physical,
yeah.
Exactly right. Wide open, and that's short for Martin, and a chance here for Fears. It's one versus.
Wins are for Oklahoma.
Yeah. A loss may not hurt him. A win would be monumental.
Yeah, no doubt.
Martin, he penetrates, and that's a soft kiss. They've missed that when he was out physically.
Yeah. And as they swing it, Thomas Houck's the one who gets the give and forces a bad shot.
Martin aggressive. Martin goes up with the left. Chinyelu follow slam. Wow. Plenty of
tough. They win. He's a great defender. Teammates love him. Another great hand by Richard.
And Richard, great defender, finds Martin, sets his feet and puts it in. Alijah Martin with. Meanwhile, they are in the bonus. Oh, that pass is deflected. It's Richard. Will Richard leaves it in for Martin. Count it. And a foul.
Fabulous play.
His first basket of the second half. Collins, the redshirt junior from Atlanta, Texas, but an X-factor this year. Collins, straight to the rim, could not finish. Or rather, Martin, excuse me. Florida here is 2 for its last 16 now from the floor. They are ice cold. What's Martin going to do here? And lucky for him, his foot was just outside the lane line.
And what I do love is no whistle.
This is a rampage right now from LSU. Martin can't answer. Can they extend? Big score, but he'll make the right play a lot more often than he doesn't. Martin, that one hangs on the rim and somehow rolls out. Another Sonny, it's the first lead of the evening for LSU, and now there's a little juice here, not only on their sideline, but in this building. Martin can't hit the turnaround, and so
here so far.
Yeah, fine rookie season. You're right. There has been a lot asked of the freshman from Memphis. B20, Martin can't hit. Chinyelu too strong.
Got to find ways to get a stop if you're LSU, so you can use maybe your speed with your productive guards to get a run. But Florida never lets you off the hook. Help out. Usually bigs go to the rim, and now guards have learned to put it close to the rim. Teammates usually finish.
There is a chemistry and continuity with this Florida team that few others around the nation possess. Times going into the smaller Collins, couldn't get it to go. Houck, new 20. This is Martin, puts it on the deck. Alijah Martin, that one affected at the rim. Jai Bailey, good rebounding.
One end to the other, but he's got to be really efficient on the inside.
Well, as you mentioned, this is where Florida can be very dangerous. Alijah Martin with the finger roll.
If you put no pressure on the Florida big.
34 to play.
Closest point producer for Florida is Clayton Jr. with 6. Will Richard on the move, had him in the corner. Good looking shot from Martin. He knocks it home. He's up to 6 now. Florida knew that at some point Georgia was going to throw a little zone at him. Good rebound by Condon, kicks it. Won't go, hand-locked with that rebound. That is just a big body underneath. It's 7-1 from hand-locked. Now you're starting to see some of that Florida offense. Here's Condon. Corner 3, too strong. Houck with the offensive rebound and the lay-in. 3, off the mark. Good box out underneath by Martin. Or excuse me, Richard. That's no good as Martin misfires. The throwdown right on top of Thomas Hawk. Martin back the other way, too strong. Chinyelu battling underneath, blocked by Newell.
After the under 12?
Yeah, and especially right there being able to get the ball on the outside, underneath, out of bounds.
Martin blows the bunny, hand-locked in a fist fight for the rebound. And the high post, 5 to shoot. Aggies have really slowed Florida down this possession. Here's Alijah Martin, contested 2. And an offensive rebound by Micah Hano.
Great pass, but good job by Pharrell Payne. Told him to get 2 offensive rebounds. That's 2 putbacks. He's done much more than that.
Elijah Martin can't hit it. Out very nearly over the back. Here comes A&M. Skip pass to Clayton. Taylor was all over him. Jump stop and out front to Martin. Got it. Well, Todd Golden preached to his team today. Missed its last 7 attempts. Out gets downhill. Went right by Garcia. And then he goes for an assist. It's down on the helper when Elijah Martin couldn't knock down. Aggies have scored, and Gators now with an 8-point lead.
That was this big lineup coming back in for A&M.
Oh my goodness. Elijah Martin from Ocala. Then another extra pass. Offensive rebound out to Howe. Second try, no good. And hand Longton with the third off the mark. This is Cruz, so veteran, they called some of your games. Wide open, and another 3 for Elijah Martin, his second. Hauk is kind of a Swiss Army knife for Florida this season. He does so many things well, which is key for this team. Martin misses on the drive, and here's A&M coming the opposite way. And now
the madness has begun, and it is carried over now.
Virginia with the handoff and a deep 3 from Elijah Martin, and the Gators hot from deep early.
After the missed free throw by Nelson, and Sears pays it off in his final home game on senior night with a 3. But how about Elijah Martin getting to the cup again with a vicious jam?
Done a really good job of keeping Alabama off the 3-point line and forcing them into tough 2s, which have been difficult to complete.
Martin can't answer. Another offensive rebound, and 4, 2 of 2 from 3. Unable to answer was Clayton. Loose ball. How great hustle. Martin's going to get a good look, but he can't hit it. Condon threw it off the Sears out of bounds. It's going to be Florida. Florida's largest lead was 7, and that was when it was 15-8. 4 minutes gone by, second half. Nobody picked up Martin. Florida was way off. Condon, another offensive rebound for Florida. League play tied for second. Auburn has already clinched the #1 seed. Looked like a foul on the shot by Nelson. Instead, Martin with the slam in transition. He ended the half with a 3, and now a vicious. Sears has the hot hand. Missed the 3, tracking down the loose ball. Elijah Martin back on the floor. He'll take the 3 and drill it. Swishing that one home to give Florida a 1-point lead. That first half here in Tuscaloosa. Clayton way off the mark. Offensive rebound and a kick to the corner. 3 on the way. Another air ball, but Condon a 3rd chance. And Condon.
There's no let up from the Gators. Martin laid off behind the back. You can tell Florida wants to end this one with a hard. Gators with a 4-on-3 break. Clayton gives it back to Martin. Shimmy shake, loses his defender. Oh. That would have made Sports Center tonight.
I thought he went MJ on us. Wow.
6 minutes here in the second half. There's Martin catch and shoot. Just so tough.
He was locked and loaded with that beautiful piece.
Condon with 3 defenders around him. Somebody's open. And it's Martin, the recipient, with the soft touch.
Matter of how can this team perform in the NCAA tournament?
Zone D here from Ole Miss, and it's Elijah Martin shooting him out of it.
Mismatch that he looked for with hand locked and then put his foot on the gas when he had a seam, taking it with to the baseline.
Martin, and that one goes over the backboard. It'll be Ole Miss ball.
Not a shot to Dia. He's capable of making that outside shot. With his size and strength on the interior, you want to make sure you establish yourself down low.
Strong take by the senior Elijah Martin. But they don't find the big man as Davis shot off the mark. Martin, pull up, transition. He's in some wild shots here to start this game.
He knows he has a veteran team, a team that he can coach hard, and they've made sure to respond. He has the experience of making it deep runs in the NCAA tournament, trying to get the Ole Miss Rebels back there.
Put away. And they will get another 20. Martin, splash.
Now, what are you going to do, huh? What are you going to do when you got
But that's no good. Look out. How came out of nowhere to grab it and got rid of it before he crashed to the ground. Alley-oop time. Richard finds Martin. Timeout on the floor.
A couple of times on those baseline out of bounds under with that zone look.
Backdoor move. Pretty play. Condon with the pass to Martin.
Condon and Hauker just a problem. They have so much.
Yeah.
You can see that cramps are an issue for Clayton Jr.
It's like a left hamstring issue for him as Martin has the ball. He drives. That's really strong. He's not going to be denied there.
Hand help only will not deter one dude that's putting it on us.
Alijah Martin hard to the baseline. Reverse. Oh, what a play. Alijah Martin.
And the gate.
Florida does have 9 turnovers in this game. What a bad athletic effort.
Ravi, what a cut, though, by Alijah Martin from that offside corner.
He told them that in that last timeout, your play in the last minute was a statement. He then held up his hand and said, we are right there. We are so close. He was emphasizing turnovers, doing the little things that don't.
In his second, and man, every big play has to feel so good for Micah Handlockton based on what happened last year. Line drive, no. Gray with a rip.
But still, Florida 1 point.
They've now absorbed the first blow and can get themselves back into this thing. Condon, terrific handle. And Martin's three finds the bottom. They are just a red-hot shooting team right now.
Let's get a clean look early off in the game.
That one goes down for Alijah Martin, averaging 15 points a game and a half. Here's Clayton. Martin, catch and shoot. Ooh, that is a thing of beauty right there.
Yes, it was. And he came down last times in the NBA. So really good teams and talent in the SEC at that time.
Here's Martin, lines one up, and that one rattles through the cylinder. Martin, step back three.
Tough shot by Alijah Martin. His momentum was coming back.
Longest streak in Gator history. Corner three on the way from Martin, no good. Tapped around. Chinyalu working hard. Martin right through the middle of that defense.
And you see how when he got into the middle of the D, it's almost like
team all the way to the basket, won't go. Richard back to Martin. He'll fire for three. Got it right over Quaintance. Wow. Mason with the basket now with 6. Condon keeps it alive. Back to
themselves great opportunities to clean it up.
Sandin had it stripped out of his hands by Martin all the way down the floor for the flush.
Wow.
Martin. Boy, for the Sun Devils.
It's a triple on its first 2 possessions. Starting 5 for Florida. You heard about the guards, Clayton, Martin, and Richard. There is Alijah Martin worming his way in for 2. And 2 really good bigs, 6'2".
You know, he finished last year 4th in the country in three-point percentage. Both his shots tonight have been wide open.
Martin gets into the lane. Chinyalu seals off Buchanan, and he won't go right. Tane Murray, the senior from New Zealand, number 10 for UVA, on the floor for the first time. There's a tough shot. Martin plays the angle, got hit in the elbow. No feet. Martin around McNeely. Here's Condon right on cue, another offensive rebound. Florida top 10 in the nation in offensive rebound rates. Martin just raises the iron along 3. What can you...
You know, this is kind of who Virginia has been. They were able to get into Florida's defense a little early. They have not been able to penetrate that defense over the last 5 minutes.
Martin and Florida, meanwhile, have second chance. Condon drives it at Murray. Got a ton of size on him. Kick out Martin. Not 3, no. And a foul. Will go. TJ Power missed a three badly for UVA. Martin off the bump.
It's not a good shot for Kofi. He's capable of it early in the shot clock.
Right into the body of McNeely. There's Alijah Martin.
Have to stay attached. You cannot leave Isaac McNeely, but when the ball moves and Day Dames is not trying to dribble the life out of it, Virginia gets a good look.
7-point lead. 15 and change to go here in the SEC ACC Challenge from Gainesville. Martin on the drive. Extended arm. And Alijah Martin rolls it. McNeely, Murray with a finish. Martin. Conlon keeps the possession alive. And Martin will miss another. 29. Going to be a 9-0 start for the Gators. Martin, his first three, the icing on the cake.
Gators on the go. They love to get into transition. Martin goes up with the right, flexes over the big man for his first basket. Strong. His second triple of the year offline. Martin to Alexis. I think that was a shot attempt. Alexis.
Because they only have 18 points. Getting the basketball inside has to help them on the offensive end.
3 in the air. Martin book it. As time extends start. And maybe an ESPN Events Invitational title. Alijah Martin lines up a straight-on three. He is heated up of late from... This is Martin coming off of a huge game the other day. Hit 8 triples last time out against Southern Illinois. Now that is how you... That's sticking the landing, by the way, right there. Don't worry, everybody. I'm all right. Martin wants 3. That's strong. Spillers boxes out Condon that time. Little confusion between Abbas and Hildreth. Abbas set the screen. Hildreth tried to flip it to him. Will Richard, offensive board, D9.
Rebounding lane.
Alijah Martin lays it up and in. So he was able to keep that knee just above. Cosby lines one up. Misfires that time. The tough fifth-year senior Martin coming back the other way. High off the glass. That's good. And then a timeout. Steals here to go along with the 8 points. So Richard leading all Florida scorers. Martin tees one up. That's offline. So that one is now history. Okay, the safety, Alijah Martin. Carolina in his first season as a deep. He's off to a really fine start, averaging nearly a double-double. Corner, Martin for 3.
The reason why they saw him, right? They were actually going to see Ruben and said, "Oh wow, Alex Thompson's pretty good too."
Well, I think he roasted him a couple of possessions, evidently, as the story goes. Alijah Martin in. Another near turnover. Chinyelu picks it up. Martin, aggressive, head of steam, lays it up and in. Timeout, Wake. The undefeated top-ranked team. How about Oregon? I don't know. Who's got the easiest path? He's playing 3 games. Alijah Martin lays it up, and somehow it goes in.
It's so hard for them to get consecutive stops. Their best offense has been when they've turned the Gators over.
Well, you mentioned the versatility. Here's another offensive rebound. Chinyelu got it blocked.
How close this game was. Yes, the Florida Gators dominated the entire second half, but Wake Forest was close. They just couldn't quite get over the hump.
Wow, now they're just trying to pile it on with 25 seconds to go.
As you see the starting 5, Will Richard, Clayton Condon, familiar names. Alijah Martin, a key transfer from Florida Atlantic, part of that Final Four squad a couple of years ago. It'll be out of bounds. The story of this team is that Yes, they're 5-0, and so many of the other stats look impressive, but they're shooting under 30 from three. You know they're better than that, and that's exactly how to get that number.
More as a board guy than a scorer. Right, Southern Illinois is going under these ball screens. They are daring Florida to do just that.
Well, that's one of the guys we were talking to his game, but to your point, for him to be the most valuable on this team, he still needs to be a major weapon behind the arc. Gators continue to be.
They're a new look club.
Of course, Coach Byington coming from James Madison. What a job he did last year with that program.
How did he catch that?
And then a double swat on the other end. Gators in transition. Break points now for Florida.
They're paying attention to those paint touch things.
Martin, nifty move. Alijah Martin, who was so...
But they get into that a lot in transition.
What a luxury to have the amount of bigs that they do have.
Uh-oh.
There is the three right now. It's a heat check for...
Senior from Houston.
They need him to heat up in the second half for sure. Martin. He got fouled on the rebound attempt, banging body. Tell you about all the SEC teams playing in some interesting tournaments here coming up, including the Florida Gators. Deep three on the way. The Nets continue to get torn up. Martin is having himself a half. He's feeling it. And that time blocked from behind.
Better serve to get it.
Inslee.
And here's one thing from the Florida perspective. They were not very good against Florida A&M earlier in the week in the second half after building a big lead.
Condon fronted down low. Shot clock at 2. Martin going to have to create. How about a running hook shot?
They're always looking to shoot the gap for a pick six opportunity.
The Gators averaging 8.5 steals a game. Now it's Richard. I beg your pardon. That's Martin, of course, for the game high 21 points. Gators clear it here. Here comes Clayton.
Here we go.
Martin
Here we
again.
go. You can see it.
Got it. And a little pose at the end. 24. That we get to ask is the most important figures in the development of their careers.
No!
Deep three? Are you kidding me?
No!
Alijah.
Here we go. Here we go.
Yes! Martin turned around. Steph Curry.
Tech, but redshirted.
Drive and kick. Not another one. Finally a miss by Martin. And that might have been one of the more open.
Against Duke.
And they're doing it without a single player from last year's roster.
Right.
There's Martin. How about 32 now for Alijah Martin? 2 off.
Timer waning down here. They got a hoist. Clayton strips. Gators off in transition. Martin corkscrews one up and in. Plus the foul.
Overhelp, pass, and you have enough space to knock a shot down. That's a gold quality shot.
Great find. Goes opposite Martin in the corner. Here's Richard.
I thought about it, and I said, oh, man, I better not vacate this.
Clayton runs the break. Martin halfway down. Houck right there. Reset.
I love the play by Brown, though, to that, right?
You got to shoot it. You got to shoot it. You do.
Even if it's a bad shot.
Who cares?
That's the rules. I don't make them. Logo land.
Oh, he's got to be the first one.
It's Young. Martin, why not?
See, I'm okay with that shot because nobody picked him up.
Right.
It's a.
Oh man, something like that. That stat right there drove someone like John Pelfrey crazy.
How about Martin the and one? He'll go back to the line. Gators will move to 5-0.
There's that disruptive guy again.
Gets rewarded. Klavjar with a brilliant no-look bounce.
Much time battling on the inside as he is on the perimeter, as right now he's guarding the basketball.
And that's even for last year's National Junior College Player of the Year. He gets taken off the bounce. Their first 2 points for Alijah Martin, and that's now Clayton left alone. Hauk into the game with the rebound. Tough shot by Martin. Old Bowen pulls it down, and here comes Florida State. Better job defensively to get out there by Will Richard, blocking the shot. Gators just keep working the basketball around and find the open man to life. Backdoor pass. Work around the perimeter now, Clayton. Good ball movement to find the open man in the corner. Alijah Martin with another three. About deflections, Randolph. In the opening game of the season, the Seminoles had 50 deflections against Northern Kentucky in a win. And that would be ideal. 35 is the goal. Does that sound about? Will Richard teeing it up from deep. Chinyelu with a one-handed rebound to Martin for 3. And another opportunity for the Gators. Clayton off the great shot fake. Finds the open man. And another offensive rebound for Florida. It's Alijah Martin. And a foul on the rebound. The energy in him on skis on a mountain.
No, I could not.
He's from Jericho, Vermont, and grew up skiing and ice skating. There he is skying for a rebound, can't get it. Said he hasn't skied.
Gators are taking a step back here so far the second half. Let's see if they can take the next step and really get back and make this a game.
Off the inbound. The defense fell asleep, and it's an easy 2. J.T. Thomas is not going to want to see.
Pat on the defensive end of the floor.
I'll tell you what, the students have come out tonight for this rivalry game here in Tallahassee. Long rebound comes to Hauk. Too strong off the back iron.
It's a great rebound there by Alijah Martin. You want to see Ewan win that battle.
Martin at the other end misses. Watkins grabs the rebound. Here comes example Leonard Hamilton set for his own family 50 years ago, being the first to go to college and get his degree. Changed the trajectory of many of his other family members. Alijah Martin showing that strength and toughness.
But this is end of the floor is where they got to be better. Communicate and guard the basketball.
Martin on Davis for 2.
That's just a senior telling us deep.
Demon Deacon, is that what you said?
That's exactly what I said.
You said Deacon Demon.
Demon Deacon.
Martin misses. One and done for the Gators at this end. This Florida
want to see more. Great job by the freshman there.
Now the shot clock at 2. Martin beats the buzzer and banks it in.
Tournament win and an overtime clash in March. Walter Clayton Jr., Will Richard, Alijah Martin, Alex Condon, Ruben Chinyelu round out the starting 5. That's the same group for the first time
to find his way as a scoring point guard.
Ernest Ross blocked by Chinyelu. Martin, corner pop. A tray. Again, East State, Grambling goes one and done. Martin passes it up. Chinyelu tips it back in.
Do you think Martin's...
Yeah, Gators need a hand in his face at all times tonight. Here's Martin attacks. Dozier at 6'1", goes up high for the swat. We saw in the Jacksonville game, the Gators get the Dolphins in early foul trouble with their posts, and a lot of those post-to-post looks. Look at that, a little surprise on the baseline out of bounds.
Good communication, they burn.
Condon. Controlled drive. That was pretty.
I just love it when guards play.
Eason had it ripped away by Martin. Accelerates through, goes way upstairs. Everybody's looking for that highlight now. Clayton thought about it.
Yes, he did.
Martin tries to go up tough. Onu with the block. Richard passes up a 3. Martin with 2. And out the 4 at Gator front court. Martin around a curl, banked it in. Oh, the bank's open late at night.
Bray's lucky he didn't get called for his third.
Martin sticks it.
Now explain to me how the same guy can shoot from the rankings and so on and so forth. But here's what I want fans to remember. You might be 9th best in the league and still in the top 25.
Martin misfires. Richard the rebound. Martin says, why not again?
That's a nice job by Martin.
So many things you're saying over the years.
Or you just get tired of me saying it.
A leak out. Here's Martin. Showtime! This offense always that extra pass. Clayton stop and start. Martin.
But what a fun possession.
Yeah.
Full of
out. Tornadoes gives for Condon. Aberdeen caught in a tough spot. Shot clock at 5. Martin. Last year, one of the best single season scoring outputs in Dolphin history.
Nice job against the press, being patient. I don't know about that shot, though.
Ow, just so University, that led to his decision to stick around. Maybe perhaps not take that NIL money. Martin down the lane, scoops and scores.
I really like the fact that Alijah...
Hands good with their feet. Florida's got to make sure they play off 2 feet when they get to the lane.
Yeah, their success last year was built on the rugged defense. Alijah Martin from 12. Kobe Knox, who drives baseline this time, only averaged about 8.5 a game last year. South Florida replacing its top 3 scorers from last season. Martin misfired. There's Stroud down at the board.
What is their spacing on the offensive end? Make the Gators chase a little bit. That's what they're doing early. But on the defensive end, they've got to rebound. Only allow the Gators 1 look. And again, that's what they've done. A great
three. Not that time. Condon. There's a second offensive board. He was a menace on the offensive glass a year ago. Now Martin spots up. Can't hit. Condon another. Chinyelu got his. Really the only program veteran in the South Florida and a lot of first and second year Bulls. And they look very connected, at least halfway through this first period.
On the floor.
Welcome back to the floor. Jennings missed all of last year with that foot injury. And so he's got 5 points here in the first half. Martin off balance 3. And Florida ice cold from deep 1 point last year. Martin has been contained a bit on this end from a scoring standpoint. Tries the 3. Houck with the offensive board.
4 seconds up the floor, they're shooting. And they're good looks.
Yeah, they have been pushing the pace and getting into transition often tonight. Count it. Martin is going to the line for 1 more.
Power. If you're the Gators, find an opening usually in the corner.
Martin gets a man flying. Now he's got the mismatch. Puts some moves on Reynolds. Houck with the offensive board. Martin thinks better of the 3. Goes up with the left. Got it. Oh, Florida. The other end of the line. Martin rises. Rebound down to Green. It's been a difficult second half.
Tonight, they are going to have a fabulous season. This is a terrific team.
Yeah, I think so. They'll be at or near the top of the American. You would think. Martin can't get it to go.
Getting into the body. And he's an older kid that has seen it all in terms of how to score in this league.
Martin's having a great night shooting. They left him wide open, and Florida 5 straight. Martin will launch. That's way, way too strong. Handlocked and has it. You know, not so fast. We have Broom, who's one of the best players in the country and may end up being the player of the year. Martin with a man in his mug, buried a 3, and then he petted Elvis Kobe. Midway through the first, this feels like a real dangerous time for Oklahoma. Martin all the way, no, too strong. Chinyelu. There may be a whistle on the floor. And
I think you got to stay with Lanier first and foremost. Jordan Gainey, Cade Phillips, and this is Darlin Stone Dubar short on the 3. Dubar had a really nice game off the bench in the semis yesterday. Closes out quickly on Lanier again. Ziegler's open though. And a good rebound in traffic by Alijah Martin.
Well, this has been quite the guard rebounding game.
Meshack. Ziegler. Back to Meshack. Up, no good. And Martin's got it for the Gators.
Tough to drive with Akpara in that low.
The left shoulder injury through much of the season. Had kind of a harness on it for several weeks, playing without it now. And a very active player, especially on the offense. Clayton, as is Sears, a finalist, 1 of 5 for the Cousy Award as the best point guard in the nation. Martin. And look at Nelson. Did he play some free safety backs? Not on the Alabama bench. Again, the last information we had, a left leg injury, questionable to return. Jaron Stevenson starts the second half in his place.
Because one thing that's going to make everybody feel better in the Southeastern Conference is they get to see somebody new in the NCAA tournament.
Although maybe just for a couple of rounds, then they might start playing each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And he lost it. Cruz got elbowed in the head by his own player. Fires up a fadeaway, no good, and watch Florida run. Houck. He got fouled, and he's got it. And there's another example of it. He kept that ball alive. They'll buy another 20 as we go under a minute.
You can't play harder than what.
Never had a senior night. I actually left and declared for the NBA draft early. So,
my God.
But, you know, you can feel the emotions of your teammates.
Okay.
We had one senior my last year in college.
Yeah. Get some space inside. And Ole Miss all of a sudden going cold from the floor.
You speak about Florida and their ability to be interchangeable.
Deal with the seal inside. But they don't find the big man as Davis shot off the mark. Pull up, transition.
Strong side.
Dia with some daylight.
Not a shot to Dia. He's capable of making that outside shot. With his size and strength, test yourself against the teams that come and test you, because that's what Tennessee will do to you. They'll grind the game out. They're going to be physical. And Ole Miss showed that they can match that level of physicality.
Kotke, free throw jumper short. And there's no let up from the Gators. Martin laid off.
To feed him whenever the sun goes down. That was him eating when the team came out pregame. So she slowly pushes calories and protein-dense foods. All his caloric intake needs to be during evening hours. He has alarms set for
Out a whistle.
Clayton with 10 points. Sears has the hot hand. Missed the three. Tracking down the loose ball. Alijah Martin back on the floor. He'll take the three. And 7 seconds to go. Sears using the ball screen. Driving. Sears puts it up. Missed it off the glass. And Richard did not get it off in time. And the first half, 23 years ago. Both teams at 12-4 in league play, tied for second. Auburn has already clinched the #1 seed. Looked like a foul on the shot by Nelson. Instead, Martin with the slip. Clayton, 87% free throw shooter on the year. 3 of 3 tonight. But he misses the front end of the 1-and-1. But
Florida gets it. Another loose ball.
And a foul called on Alabama.
Wade Taylor's the guy looking for his spots.
Way off the mark.
That wasn't a spot.
He's been in double digits 99 of his 135 high chairs. Some of them got bibs.
Tommy, you remember everything.
Steel trap, my friend. I just wish. And an offensive rebound by Micah Handlockton. Aberdeen for 3. Another offensive rebound. And the floater goes for 1, would you?
I just want him to give me the ball. You can roll the ball to me if you want to.
Wiltshire contested 3. That's not a bad shot for him. But A&M is down 12 with 2.5.
34 to play.
Great shot blocker, having a career season. Will Richard contested 15-footer, can't get it to go, and there's the effort on the glass that time by Thomas House. So that gives his team another possession.
He did night out, might have a bunch, might not, but he can respond.
Williams follows his miss, and so that's the easiest one for Williams. And yeah, that's the second layup LSU has blown here, and the deficit defending champs. Weather's pretty good down that way. I would say that ends up.
It's cold here in Baton Rouge, I know that.
When is it doesn't stop the
ball playing good defense. He will shoot the ball better because he's a better shooter. It's been a tough year so far.
Yeah, fine rookie season. You're right. There has been a lot asked of the freshman from Memphis. Senior from Lake Wales, Florida. Gibbons watches. That's offline.
I don't like the shot. Again, he hasn't shot the ball well this season. Long miss. And if you have great leadership, Walter Clayton Jr. or Will Richard, that they don't care about how many points they're scoring night in, night out. They're all going to get their averages. And so it's a very
LSU that's won back-to-back games. They've got a little mojo. Klobjar can't hit the three. Another 20 where they have owned the offensive glass. Klobjar gets open again.
What a rip there by Martin, who's playing great now in his second game back.
You're burning the red shirt for a guy that's really, really good.
Yeah, Houck went straight up. That was a good job by him. And Elijah Martin comes in and rips it away from everybody.
Simple handoff action. I mean, all those Florida bigs, you can run offense through them from up top.
Yeah, Miles, that's too strong. Martin rips it away. Clayton Jr.'s 4 of 6 from 3 and a lot. And he does have a wonderful smile and personality about him. Very popular amongst his teammates. He, Condon.
He's got a choice. If I take the guy low or take the guy high, he read it perfectly.
Step back three. Martin tracks it down. What the high bounce? That was the earlier new athletic director, commitment to name, image, and likeness. Ugasuk off the mark. They're recruiting at a high level. You expect them to be active in the portal in the offseason. Guess who?
MJ Collins Jr. high off the window, won't go. Tanner fighting for it. Here comes Martin.
Not sure he got the rim, but regardless, Florida comes out with it. Aluma's playing with 3. Dump off to Condon. A no look in the left. That is big time. And a takeaway.
Going an 8-9-0 run all by themselves.
Aluma was at Creighton for a couple of years. Played on an Elite 8 team. Another easy rim run. Chinyaluz gets 7.
Jump. I actually called that game last year, Arkansas at Florida, and Florida just got all over them. No one at all alert on that weak side. But I flew.
Had the hot hand. Defers to Martin. 5 to shoot. Martin pivots. Kick out. Late shot 3. Aberdeen gets a friendly bounce off the heel of the rim.
Carolina right measuring a 3. Short, long rebound, scooped up by Martin. Ahead, Aberdeen flying in transition and gets the easy basket for the Gators.
Well, that's just miscommunication.
Richard thought about a pass, takes the 3, turns around midair, a la
20-point game. Florida trying to make it 12 in a row against this Georgia program.
Clayton, nifty move, up and under, finger roll with the left hand.
Fighting for it, here comes Martin. Will Richard, downtown.
Richard shooting lights out. That ankle, just their 3rd loss of the season, and it came on the road against the best defense in the country. Richard a 3, ties it at 38.
Great recognition.
Is often packed to the brim, and it is again tonight. Over 10,000 on hand. Home run pass to Condon, and lays it home.
Excellent design play. Shoot an open 3-pointer. It's going to be after that second chance opportunity on the O boards.
Chinyaluz on the zip from Martin.
27-54. Pringle turns it over. Richard, Martin, Chinyaluz. Boy, he's fun to watch. Likeness. Ugasuk off the mark. They're recruiting at a high level. You expect them to be active in the portal in the offseason. Guess who? A mid-major program. We have to maintain that edge, and the question is, can we, starting tonight?
And coaches are always looking for an edge. And I think Bruce Pearl got an edge because they lost Rabby of getting there.
Yes, they are. Fears had that one taken away. Here's Martin. The alley-oop to Chinyalu.
What a... You got a pair of Gators with double-doubles.
And again, the Gators want to keep pushing the tempo. Yes, they're up big, but there's 3 minutes to left, and this is what they do.
That feels like a dash.
Locked in. Aberdeen for 3. Another offensive rebound. And the floater goes for Klobuchar.
Too many chances for Florida right there. They will make you pay. Get this Florida backcourt. I think this is one of the best backcourts in the country. It's so many out there, but when you get 3 guys that can do it, and you add in a situation like Thomas Howell.
Defensive player of the year. It could be Jaren Jackson Jr. Of the Grizzlies.
There's a lot of that. You get Norman Powell, who's out right now for the Clippers. He was probably the front runner for.
If you fall asleep under the bucket, Alabama is going to take advantage of it.
Condon nails the 3. That's his second triple, and he turns and
that's his 4th one.
Nelson turns it over. Florida looking to get out and run. Condon, a slam. 5 quick points for Alex Condon.
And those are the turnovers that Alabama.
Condon back on the floor with 4 fouls. Knocks down the triple.
There's the big man lining one up. 7 feet. This is just a case of they just don't have the size or muscle to match the Gators down low. They don't have it.
And even Todd Golden does the "you're too small for."
Condon hustles back. He will not get there. Great effort by Grill. It's down to 4. Alley-oop, Martin. Boy, that's how to answer. He found out.
Yeah, within 3 seconds, man, Florida.
Depth and the quality of it. Backdoor move. Martin spins in there, lost the ball. It's recovered by Chinyalu, and 2 more.
Wins at Auburn, at Alabama. They won at Mississippi State. It's not easy to win in Starkville. The 2 #1 wins at Auburn, banked home by Chinyalu, who's having a time of his life right now.
Usually that's not a high-value shot, but in this game, it's going to be available.
Clayton open. Got it. A 3 for Walter Clayton Jr. And Elijah Martin to Clayton. Good pass. Right back out to a wide open Clayton, who knocks down the 3.
Boy, the pass in
to be a threat on the offensive end.
Oh, here we go. Look out. Richard on the break. Timeout. Donnie Jones. Klobuchar trying to get in the rhythm. You bet. On cue.
On cue. There it is.
Litteris, half hook, barely scrapes the rim. A run out. Watch out.
Fantastic outlet and presence of time, so he didn't get a chance to really show off his talent until staff members saw him working out, and with Iona, that gave him the
rebound. Chinyalu ahead to Martin. Richard, sidestep 3, he got it.
They are small, but they're quick. That's why I say free throw line to free throw line is where they got to win the game, Dave. They've got to make their presence felt with their speed.
Chinyalu underneath for 2.
Because Chinyalu right now is dominating.
We'll find the first half. The Heels can't buy a basket. They're 0 for 8 from 3. Martin again gives it up very unselfishly for the swish by Aberdeen. And this is their biggest again. He'll penetrate and shovel, but it's going to be tipped and picked off by Martin. Martin giving it up to scoop up around by Aberdeen, who's been a couple of those plays.
Look how quickly.
The quickness, the speed of North Carolina. It was vacant in the first half. It's on display in the second. Houck will let fly and swish in a triple.
Remember we talked about
on the deck again, one by Clayton. Launches a three. Condon with a finish. And Bobby Hurley's about to lose his mind over there. He felt like there was some move by Adam Miller. Came in averaging 9.5 a game. Clayton, that's a long three, and it's perfect. Wow. Walter Clayton and Ginyalu disrupted that. Miller left it just a fraction short.
That's the one if you're Miller. Walter Clayton right back at you in the counterattack. You're going to have to run some offense. Don't get out of your structure or the run will continue for Florida.
Alexis beats everybody down the floor.
From an opposite direction so they can play against a set defense in the half court.
That'll be goaltending. Sean Phillips. Jihad. Boy, entry pass taken away by Clayton. Here the Gators are. 4-on-2 run out. Alley-oop. And another dunk.
Beautiful ball movement coming down in transition.
Second bench basket for Virginia. Condon three.
Shovel it to Richard, puts it up. That's strong, but Condon clears it. He tries one for three. Pounces in.
Got to get a timeout if you're coaching.
They meet for the second year in a row. Last year, Wake got him in the challenge game.
Ginyalu to the rim, and Martin found him cutting.
Pretty basketball.
Top half and upper echelon of their respective leagues. Alijah Martin just took that one away from Hildreth. Clayton transition three.
Bang, bang. That's what
out of there. Richard had the rebound, a strip, a loose ball, and the scrum is won by Florida. Ahead of the pack, it's Condon, and the Aussie banks it home.
What a great find by Martin, keeping his head. Martin three ball.
Sets up Hauk. He delivers from downtown. Day night before a big football contest for Florida tomorrow against the Ole Miss Rebels. That was set up by the offensive rebound by Martin, and it leads to an end of year.
Do you have a pair of shoes like Alexis?
They're on order.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're on order. I asked for extra neon. Now it's Aberdeen getting into the act. Forward. How? All set up by Martin. Martin's off. Burnside almost got that in.
Again, eyes
there
always up. And it's Hauk.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's it.
Catch.
That baseline spin is definitely, I mean, no one did it better than DeMarcus Cousins in the SEC.
Hauk extends his range at three.
Now he shot that ball, but pass. Man, I love that early look opposite.
Oh, what a great pass by Martin.
Return gives Clayton, sticks it. The connection with Martin.
Here's one thing that I also want to mention that I don't think fans necessarily have a great appreciation for. Florida has looked a little shaky in the second half, right?
It's by committee. I mean, if the ball moves, this team is really connected. They've got to get stops and get out in transition. Gators now hit 4 shots in a row. They continue. The dance, it affects the Demon Deacons that have struggled to get in. Like it affects these teams that are trying to make runs to get into the NCAA tournament. The November schedule matters.
Clayton a three. Reset Martin. That's a good look. Bottom. Walter Clayton shoots by Richard. Doesn't have numbers. Will take it all the way. Dances off. Martin saves it back to Richard. And one.
I think he...
Grambling in his zone.
Yeah, it's a 2-3, but the wings are way high. A little Syracuse flavor.
Richard. Money. Martin. Extra pass for Clayton. Patient drive. Ginyalu up and under.
Maybe one extra pass.
We are underway. As you can imagine, Florida in white, Jacksonville in green. Here's one of the newest skaters, Elijah Martin, to Chinyelu. Dodges the defender and lays it in. Also one of the...
In transition, a little bit better job.
Gators attack the pick and roll. Condon, the deflection. Richard. Strong take. Gets the roll. More on his defense in that court vision that Mark talked about. Big takeaway. Another long lead. Richard. The slam. Clayton. Clayton hit an early three. He's been silent since. Condon from the logo. Yep. Another. Adding to the career night for number 2.
I'll say no, they can't.
Yeah.
Okay, let's throw it out there. No, they can't.
Incredibly difficult, by the way, to do that.
Yeah, it is.
Condon on the baseline.
Great call after the timeout by Front. And try to challenge a guy that's probably quicker than you. You get beat off the dribble, no one behind it sees it.
Condon screen and roll, nicely done. He's into double figures. Well, let's Williams goes by him, knocked away. Martin comes up with it. Martin to Richard. Richard got it, and the foul.
Within one with a 3. Martin looks for a cutter. He found Hauke. He throws it down. And just like that, it's a 2-point ball game.
Condon posting, gets it. Condon finds Martin. Back to Condon. Lay-in, 6.8 on the clock. Again, no timeouts remaining. Florida looking to foul. Gets his own rebound, blocked from behind. I think Martin got that one. Now Martin going to lead the break. Alley-oop to Condon! Rocks the rim, courtesy of Perth, Australia. Committed to the SEC, that's more than any other league, so that string of talent continues to flood into this SEC. And Florida getting every look it wants now. Condon.
Breeze, but they get him off penetration. You have to guard the ball, keep him out of the lane. And Martin just lost the handle, and Clayton couldn't keep it in bounds. Nate Oates was a finalist, 1 of 5 for the Cousy Award as the best point guard in the nation. Martin. And look at Nelson. Did he play some free safety back in North Dakota? Yeah, until he grew down. Great cut. Martin, the extra pass. And it's Alabama ball.
First half was calling for it inside, working against Padula. They didn't find him.
Really good job of fighting. The turnover made by Ole Miss. The takeaway they need.
To keep Florida from being able to come off that dribble handoff action. And that means it's going to be a back cut.
Youngblood couldn't handle the pass, but Florida turns it over again in transition. Bailon.
Richard whips it to the left. Here's Clayton. Back across to Martin. Why is it so key to throw skip passes against A&M's defense?
Because you're youth.
Elijah Martin cut off by Washington. And Garcia with the steal. Anderson Garcia with the two-hand jam after the takeaway. And A&M.
But Chinyelu has a way of grabbing those loose basketballs coming off the rim.
Strong and physical. When his hands get on the basketball, he keeps it.
Gators turn it over. Martin.
Experience.
Martin defended by Edwards. Contact and an offensive foul. Drawn by Edwards. The West James for the Vanderbilt leading scorer. And Martin stepped out of bounds, and we'll give it back to the Commodores. Well, 8-0 Vanderbilt run after trailing 5-zip to start. Martin had it tied up. McLaughlin wins it back. And Martin with 10. Hounded by Hogard, who almost won it back. And Hogard with some chatter at the end of that play. Martin had it tipped away by McLaughlin.
Great swim move by McLaughlin to get around and get a tip.
8. Twice in the same season. Free ball. It's again no good. And then Richard loses it across the end line.
Florida led this.
In the trees. Back out to Martin. And Martin lost it. Demery on the steal. 3-on-1 Dogs. Martin, he turns it over.
So good hands that time by Demery, I think, anticipate.
Commodores. Martin nearly lost his footing and then throws it in the backcourt. So a turnover out of the timeout. Gators getting a little bit sloppy here to start this out. There were tents and students in line for hours this morning. And it's chilly here in Gainesville. It's in the 20s this morning. This is not Florida weather. 7 under 10 for Howe. Martin in the paint. Throws it right to a Gamecock player, right into the hands of Ugasu.
Too many guys.
Natural groove we've seen from him in this league over the last few years.
They missed his first 4 games of the season due to an ankle injury. He said the biggest thing was going from team to team.
Yeah.
Final 4 with Houston and then to Iowa.
Condon can't handle the pass down low. Runs into his own guy, and Condon is there to corral it. No need to rush. Martin threw it right into the hands of Grill, who was acting like a free safety back there.
Shots when he's had to, and defensively.
Martin bottled up. Martin coughed it up.
And they want to run here. Advance pass to that corner.
Martin cut off on the baseline, and they turn it over.
Kentucky
tipped by Carr. And Kentucky's
Massey. Martin comes out of the fray. 14 in the first half. That'll be called on him just about every time.
A little bit of a double team on every pick and roll situation.
Quick hands, a deflection, and a UNF steal. Second, Richard with the thunderous dunk and another turnover. 3-on-2. Richard fumbles it out of bounds. It goes back to UNF. There with the rebound.
Well, I guess one line of defense, if I was to have to give a key for UNF, would probably be to guard Will Richard.
Here's Martin. Pass interrupted. Nice job there by Powell. Had his hands up. Davis in transition.
Average length of possession.
Richard lost the handle. Knocked around. Davis with it. Jay Davis will back it away and try to hit a pointer. He has 16.
There's glimpses of the old R.J. Davis in this game today.
Picked up by Cano. He will lay it in. Davis again, harassed from behind, lost it. Thought he got fouled on the play, but the pick by Tyson to return the favor.
They currently have in the SEC, but when you talk about those Florida teams in 2000, as you mentioned, Corey Brewer, Al Horford, Joakim Noah, Torian Green, but Lee Humphrey, an outstanding shooter that they had on that roster, physical advantage. You bring them out in space and operate.
Martin poked out of there by Quaintance, whose defense has been really, really good today for you.
No, and I will say this. I do think that for a lot of bigs, it's a psychological thing. It's changed a little bit in today's game with now that coaches are allowing more players to shoot shots from the outside.
Great for Saunders. He's got 15. And he's done it from everywhere. Three-point line, mid-range, and taking it to the basket. Now there he is on the defensive end. He's already
season. He feels he and his staff has a very comfortable, tight, good continuity and rotation here this season, and they're off to a 6-0 start.
Two guys we talked about earlier, Tom Hildreth and Hunter Salas, now picking it up.
And Fredrickson initially knocked it away.
And so Wake Forest can not be surprised if you've got 10 NCAA tournament teams in that bunch, and certainly Florida expected to be one. Of course, last year the SEC had 8. Well,
what slump? Throw the percentages out. 26%, 21%. Both teams coming out hot from behind the line right now.
Well, you talked earlier today as we were here for shoot-arounds, Randolph, that Florida. Eight to shoot. Ball comes loose. Bodies go flying, and it'll go the other way.
Then that open look.
JT Thomas, no. Martin with a rebound, goes to the deck, no whistle. Now Ewan tries to tie him up, and he takes the basketball away. Ewan, count the basket.
Getting to the year, Grambling 1-1. Gators, they've had their struggles from deep. That's a palming violation, Elijah Martin. How many times will you see a palming violation this year? See the kind of mindset Clayton has tonight. This will be a moving screen. This is Martin. Bodies flying everywhere.
I'm a huge fan of Burnett. He is so explosive.
Martin Aaron feeds, 7th Gator turnover.
No reason to turn the ball over. And every game in between, teams are so consumed with playing fast that they have kind of lost sight of shot selection, taking care of the ball.
Oh, the Gators turn it over. Martin.
And Ben Fletcher continues it on. They're a confident group. When they walked in, we watched shoot around today. Their coaches are confident.
Well, they just forced another Florida turnover. Here goes Brown. Flush.
Carving up that Missouri defense to start this game.
Pass down low. Perkins takes it into traffic, throws it up and in.
With Jamin Brakefield, he makes sure to play at his own pace. He can score in a phone booth.
Good help D by Elijah Martin with that block.
A&M has been inefficient on the offensive end, yet only down 9. Carter with the back cut, and he's fouled. They get Hanlogton for his
one we've seen shooting the basketball right now. Entry pass to Godfrey, just muscles it past Martin. He's been quiet here offensively in the second half. Bounce pass to Absent, to a cutting Godfrey, he throws it down. Nice pass from.
He's 2 for 5. He is lurking on the right side. Here's his touch. Got attention on him. Go inside to Phillips. He draws the foul. And he'll be going to the free throw line. It's number 2.
I think he's ran the offense well. Got to the free throw line 4 times, which they've got to have. Nice backdoor cut.
Pass too, and a layup for Jordan Gainey. Largest lead.
Shot selection habits.
Still want to be all gas, no brakes, right? Godfrey muscles his way in, and all of a sudden, 9 minutes remaining. Florida looking for 12 in a row against their border rivals. Dylan James, the
names in sports.
There it goes again. Every time the ball goes up, it's an alley-oop.
Into a shot in transition.
Amari Williams with the ball. Great feed to the cutting Butler, and another example of how Mark Pope.
Great job there by Ruben Chinyelu.
Nowhere to go with 3. Senior with 1. It got blocked by Martin. Stifling defense.
Be just fine.
That's right.
We're going to be just fine.
Martin gets to the passing lane.
Here in the second half of the first
half. A completely different North Carolina team in the second half.
The baseline, quick strike, and guess who did us again?
91-53. Deni Broom went for 21 and 20. And let's not overlook his 6 assists in that game.
Wow. I mean, he's just a phenomenal.
Last 10:53 of the half, Wichita State.
That is a prolonged drought. Cortez got blocked.
Martin on the offensive end. 3 of 9 from distance. Meanwhile, for the Gators, they get beat off the back door, and that's a pretty good way to start the second half. The nice feed.
Gators 4 of their first 8. Off the curl, Stevenson gives it up. The swap by Condon. It was Ross going up the... Back to that same spot on the floor for flipping backdoor. Ross! Two-handed stuff.
Yeah, if you allow them to take the...
Bad look.
When Chinyelu goes out, then he moves over to the 5. Well, that's too easy. No ball awareness.
That's Munson on the baseline out. Bell screaming for it. How suffocating defense. Bell on the cut, fades and fires.
Now, I like to, including this new career high of 20, and we've got 7.5 minutes to go.
6 for 6 night will do.
Guys can look for slips after they set a screen. Here's Lanier. Boy, got a good look right.
Let's see if Padula can put an end to this run for Ole Miss. Had it knocked away. 10 on the shot clock. Here's Barnes. And another 3 off the mark.
Alabama ball down 7. Phylon using the screen. Sears, straight on look. Can't bury it.
Off the bench, but then their starter Alex Condon. Thomas Houck is playing his best ball with those two out, and Victorious Miller that time draws the foul.
Gamecocks have weathered this early Gator storm, haven't they?
Yeah, they have, and they're doing it because on the offensive end they're getting high-quality shots. Terrific pass, another easy basket for the Gamecocks.
Boards.
How on earth did M.J. Collins Jr. first?
Left it short. They dominated Tennessee in the paint, had 40 points in the paint in their first meeting. By the way, that matchup was the first time Tennessee and Florida met as top 10.
To have him coming off the bench, he could start for about 300 D1 teams in the country. Nice take by Tyron Lawrence, who's been rather.
Credit Chinyelu for starting that break, the blocked shot. There was the hot hand of the first half, and give him a...
Another 3.
And vote of confidence on the offensive end. Clayton Jr. now hit a 3 in 38 straight games as Ziegler misses. 38 straight with a 3.
Well, this is all about Florida tonight, and Tennessee obviously didn't play their best, didn't shoot the ball well. But Florida from the get-go.
For 4 from 3, while Walter Clayton Jr. was the one knocking him down for Florida. But Florida tries to keep the ball to one side. They load to the ball. So if you can get it to the seconds, only shooting 30% from 3 this year, but he's essentially a 40% career three-point shooter.
And Kentucky, as Robinson hits again, Kentucky is an impressive.
Clayton Jr. was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school as a football player. Wanted to make it clear that he did not want to play basketball.
He played and how challenging it's been. He said he needed a mental reset. He said he got one. He trusts the work that he's put into the game, and he knows that he's put in the work. Listen.
Teams here, only one is unranked. Florida, the highest ranked, number 7. Davis bumping back and knocks in a triple. That's
slight shot fake. Get him up in the air. One bounce to the right, pulled up, money.
And another moving. Ali, a little too strong.
Stevenson wiggles through. Oh, that was tough and one.
I can and plant that big rear in the paint and dare people to get around you.
It's a good formula. McCray finally has space.
Now that's a man's rebound.
Some transfers. We'll see if they have done so again this year.
And remember the need for the size inside, because Micah Handglatten, who will sit out this season, redshirt, with
that they gather around. Step back 3 in the bottom for Bates. He can do that. Now it's a...
Dia trying to work, but Chinyelu not giving up any ground. Padula. Woo. There's the 20-point game of the season. There he is with a full head of steam, high off the glass, off the mark.
little too much on that one.
Demery. Now it's Newell. They leave him wide open. Air ball. But a foul underneath. I've taken 2 shots, so he missed them both. So he's still scoreless here in the early minutes. But he can get hot very quickly. Carter from 15.
He'll be right clears. Here comes Carolina.
I thought Houck would swing it one more time. Elijah Martin back in the ball game. He's missed a couple.
Martin on the floor. That is a critical sign for the. Euro step for Thomas.
He's been good with the ball tonight. First half was really good.
Really impressed with the bigs on the last couple of possessions, catching tough passes and having the presence of mind to make a good play to finish.
Nichols.
Too much. They do not have that option, obviously, this game on offense.
Dubar gets into the paint, back rims it, finds his miss. And here's Lanier again. He is taken over here in the second half. Tennessee put up 45 threes in their loss to Kentucky.
Got to be strong on both lines first. Otherwise, your skill will be limited. Hesitation on the 3-footer from Caden Kaluma. Transferred in from Kansas State, was also a late addition to this Texas roster. Here's Mark, challenge at the rim, and the southpaw got it.
Now Mark got hit pretty corn dogs. That's how he celebrates.
Some people worry about recruiting, development.
No, not him.
I did listen to him that night on the field as the Longhorns.
Yeah, those older, more physical Florida guards defensively have made life tough on 20 and White.
Richard with the rebound. No dice for Bates.
Pass down low. Mitchell had it. Grill scoops it up. Grill contested three.
Oh my!
Wow! Right in the.
That was and is, Jay. It's all ratcheted up a level now that league play is underway. Williams to the rim with authority and met by Chip. Butler swings it back out for Owe. Still 12 on the shot clock. Owe, what strength as he banks it home. Brea kicks it out. Garrison back to Brea, trying to get the shot off, and he does!
Without a doubt, having the opportunity of bringing a guy that's going to be able to lead your team.
Oh, big time denial. Sam Alexis sets up.
Speed up, speed up, speed up, and then get to my shot with the correct pace to throw the defender off.
Ellison, a quick look.
This is to Kentucky and Kansas. Shot clock didn't reset here. Murray will score it.
They're 6-0. Yesterday, their most significant win, their first against a power conference, the 2-point win against Minnesota. Ruben Chinyelu. Now, the rest of the tests in their non-conference slate features Virginia in their challenge game next week. They're going to play Arizona State.
Fourth for Florida on both ends of the floor. Gators have their largest lead. And
There's Jordan Chapman down the lane. Nowhere to go. Condon to help deep.
These fans like it's been 40 years, trying to rebuild almost an entirely new roster this year. There's going to be some growing pains. Watkins is fouled by Elijah.
He doesn't come from the front line. These guards are big and physical, and all of them are capable of scoring and beating you off the bounce, and it just puts so much pressure on your defense.
It's too bad we haven't seen Ernest Ross tonight because he got in there early, foul trouble. But we have seen Dozier.
Yeah.
Switching anyway on the perimeter, but you must follow the scouting report with him at all times.
It's Wheeler, had it pinned up against the glass by Chinyelu.
Misfired. There's Stroud down with the board. Stroud on the move. Back to Reed. He's got the mismatch, trying to blow by Condon, threw it away.
For the Gators this year.
Yeah, went off in that SEC tournament semifinal game, went for a career-high 20 points, and he is going to be the lead ball handler, first guard coming off the...
He does it in an effortlessly way.
Williams goes by him, knocked away.
In a depth perspective, it reminds you a little bit of the old North Carolina teams with all the big guys they would bring in. They wear you out and foul you out.
Tennessee, a terrific job to get to this championship game, but just ran into
pace, even for the Gators.
Barrett one-on-one against an unbelievable defender in Martin, and he's forced to throw up that shot. And it finds this is as close as it's been since it was 28-24. Robinson deep in the paint, throws it up, soft touch. Down to 4.
The most of it. He don't want no red shirt. He want to be a part of this championship run.
Here's Taylor. Cut off, went down.
After that game in Nashville last year at the SEC tournament, they went away from the drop coverage in the second half. That cleared the way for an 18-point comeback.
Yeah, there was a step right in front of Todd Golden, but they're not gonna pull that string. Look out! Oh, that boy hand locked and came right down on Martin. And
when you're losing, it's really hard to figure out exactly what you can do for your players on the floor to make them make one extra play to get a win.
Hogarth with a look at the shot clock. 5 to go. Takes it himself. Heavy with the floater. Aberdeen cover.
Allows Florida to capitalize.
Hogarth, step through, set back by Alexis, and out corrals. You're always thinking 2 for 1, and no one ever does 2 for 1. Kane drops it.
Now he's been a bright spot.
He has.
About Jamin Brakefield that Gary Parrish wrote yesterday.
You know how I feel about the ultimate Swiss Army knife, Cam Matthews. The left hand.
A little left-handed English, if you will.
Kane fighting for the rebound.
This is Georgia, yes. Because he had 17 in the game last year in Athens.
You and I had that. That was the Scout Buster where he came out.
Yes. Well, I was flying commercial the next morning.
He didn't suspend anyone, but he sure wanted to watching that film.
Come on, Mark. No good. He was, if you remember, he was
for Clayton, their floor general. Tough shot. Missed it. Gets his own rebound. Blocked from
Clayton Jr. can't find the bottom. A lot of intense defense from Arkansas. Wagner. No good. Wagner in the corner. He's got 6 now on the shot clock as he goes to the nail. He fires it up there. That would have been an opportunity for an alley-oop to Adu.
Another thing by Florida tonight. We talked about downhill drivers. They have uphill drivers. They have dudes like Elijah Martin, Aberdeen, quickly moved up to the Florida. But he's a combination of cold, hard numbers driven by analytics, but the human element, the blend.
Sacrificial cuts to get others open. But their cutting has been beautiful to watch.
Butler misses the 3 and a foul.
Point guard Daniel McGregor, he's number 4 in black, who's dealt with multiple injuries this year. As well as Blaise Saigneau attacks to the cup. Met by Alexis.
Transition defense. Got to stop the ball.
Stop the ball, right? McGregor.
Wow, back-to-back high degree.
Sold out
1
crowds.
o'clock game.
Filled in nicely, by the way. There was a monsoon outside, I'm told.
Goodness gracious, wasn't it?
Ellison high over Alexis.
Crafty. You don't want to switch this.
Davis has been cooking. His jumper. Got it. RJ has it rolling.
Freeman. Little bump, no whistle. How the rebound.
With the strength of Alijah, they do miss from the outside. They're giving themselves great opportunities to clean it up.
Sandin had it stripped out of his hands by Martin. All the
final minute. What's going to be win number 11 for the SEC in this challenge. Ames in traffic. Can't get it to go.
Heavy Florida crowd, an hour and 45 minutes from Gainesville, where we are here. Justin Hill misses every. New 20 for the Shockers. So here is Justin Hill, very aggressive, downhill driver, scores it.
Nice. He outquicked him to the
ability as well. And this has been a well-rounded performance thus far for the Gators. Hill stops on the dime. Washington got his hands in.
They have an ample amount of weapons that can hurt you.
Hildreth goes up. That one's down.
Denzel Aberdeen. So two big pieces not available for Todd Golden. Sterling Young. Rebound Condon. Long
team has. They're just physically dominant, and they're imposing their will right now on the Seminoles.
Watkins on the pull-up. Two-point shot just inside the line. Get it down to a two-possession game. Does Florida State have another push in them? Watkins, tough shot, and the chance for three.
Time for Watson.
Your screen on McCray. They'll run them off screens, right, Mark?
That's right. Nice job by Condon helping out.
Great defense from Clayton. Victor Lopez back as the strength coach. Spence with one. He's got to get rid of it. Don't think that got up in time. I think this has been a fun matchup. McCray and Martin. Goes to the left hand with the finish. He can finish with both. Any doubt? And another. He's got 20.
5 here. They've got some good depth at that position according to their staff.
And I think the guy with the basketball read's going to have a fantastic season.
His next step, what's it going to look like? And so far, a nice start. He's got the 8 points and 5 boards. Wow, Reed, the blow by to the basket for 2 more.
No sense if you're Alexis.
Chinyelu. Martin, no doubt, probably the most coveted or most prized of the bunch. Alexis did that a lot last year at Chattanooga. Shocked several folks on the staff. They are lauding just the professional approach that so far in the preseason, upside. Maybe to be in the top half of the league, to reach a tournament. I mean, there is quality teams in the league. And
Zakai Ziegler to get into the vision of the passer, wound up making the play. 7 assists on 8 made baskets for the Volunteers, but they are down 9, and now a turnover. The exclamation point on what is going to be a title for the Gators. Ziegler makes it a Condon screen. Talk about being ready to shoot. First team All-SEC and a finalist for the Cousy Award as the best point guard of the nation, as we mentioned.
Steps back from Sherrill, and that meant Philon had to block out Ruben Chinyelu. So even if he misses, Chinyelu's right there for the offensive board.
Holloway answers with a 3 of his own.
Mess around with that ball. Bates gets the screen, throws it up, didn't get the call. 19-point lead. That's the largest lead they've had tonight. Robinson challenged, no good.
Barnes trying to make something happen as Dia gets some space inside. And Ole Miss all of a sudden.
And we're not, but it's a good game here in Gainesville. The Gators are playing big-time basketball.
Strong runner, rims out. And here's Dia on the ball, setting the screen. Murray driving on Martin, leaning in. Oh, what a tough finish for Juju Murray.
Yes.
And that ends the run.
And drew contact without a whistle.
Clayton with 10 points. Sears has the hot hand. Missed the 3. Tracking down the 3 way off from Clayton. Sears looking to run, but Florida gets 4 guys back defensively. Sears on the baseline. Can't connect. Batted out by
set play after the 3 by Mark Sears. What an answer to get that back door on the open side.
In and out. Philon almost
the 4th, coming off of a 21-point performance in A&M's loss on Wednesday to Vandy. Chucks up a 3 that's rebounded by Phelps.
Shoot the ball. They help you big fella out.
Nate Taylor, the 4th, who's 0 for 4 tonight. Make it 0 for 5 unless that was a pass, and Payne picks it up.
Definitely.
Starting 5 for Georgia. Blue Kane, Silas Dimery, R.J. Gottfried. There is Dimery.
Respect the guys that you brought back from last year. You got Chinyelu in here, who's
obviously a great rim protector.
Well, they're going to protect the boat. Waiting to set the screen for Dimmery. Shot clock down to 7. Dimmery. Little fall away, and that won't go. 8 seconds, a chance here.
The senior from Lake Wales, Florida. Gibbons watches. That's offline. I don't like this attack there. Jai Bailey trying to get free. And now here is Cam Carter. Little separation, puts it up. That 3 goes down and out. Collins follows.
Clayton Jr. leading the way. He's got 8. Good time penetration. He just backed his defender and Martin out of the way.
This is where Florida will have a significant advantage. Condon and his interior play will be important.
Needed that from A.J. Hogarth, the first year.
Good look for him.
Bishop Boswell, freshman, getting some run. Was Zakai Ziegler out? Tees one up. Chinyelu rips it down. Point defense, one of the best in the country. In fact, the best from a percentage standpoint. Gaining around the screen, pull up. 15-footer is good, and Tennessee on a roll.
Demery. Oh my goodness. Got all the way to the bucket and tail by then, Mark Wise. Luckily for us, it's a day game. Driving take, no. And Chinyelu had it. Colin Murray Boyle's not exactly where you want him. 22 feet from the basket. This guy, that's where you want him. Missed it. Pringle, another offensive. Robinson wheeling in the paint. Tries to create a little space and hits the little fade. You mentioned the land, but since then, they have been playing outstanding. The newcomers are beginning to mesh even better. This guy is still one of the better scorers in the league.
When Bud Walton is full, as it is today, it's as good as any place in all of college basketball.
Boogie Flant got to the elbow, and it rolls in at a little home court roll. They got 5 now on the shot clock. Knocks to his right, throws up an off-balance shot, and Florida has withstood the first.
Perry gets it back, puts it up. And Condon the rebound.
Second half with the ball.
Butler from 18. It will go, and it's a 10-point. Away defended by Martin. Gets a piece of the paint, got him in the air, and scores.
They have to be able to make that a factor. And they've done that here to start the second half.
Davis stops quickly, drills the jumper. He's caught fire.
Boy, his defense is certainly not freshman-like.
Absolutely.
Miller stops and fires and rips it. They had a
Jihad out of the picture.
Here's Mason.
Hit threes. Yesterday was Walter Clayton Jr.'s third 20-point game of the season. He's averaging about 17 a game in the early goings. Newton over Wake Forest. On the glass. Bell trying to go to work. Puts it up high off the glass. Knocked back out by Boschnia.
Elijah Martin, 15 and white, brings a defensive presence on the perimeter Florida really hasn't had, but he got crossed up that time.
Deba. Up top, Hensley. Probing, leaning, and banking it off the window and in.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Todd Golden.
Saeed Burnside. Here's Roderick Coffey on the floor for the first time. Snakes around a screen.
Than any other human in NCAA tournament history.
And the point about him shooting in football stadiums, that would really rattle some shooters with him. Young up and under. He's looking for double figures in this half alone.
Jackson rejected the screen, missed the shot. Ewan misses the follow.
Martin Aaron feeds, 7th Gator turnover.
No reason to turn the ball over in the first 7 seconds.
Stevenson takes the harm from Martin that Denzel Aberdeen has, especially once the Gators get into SEC play. He's waited his turn. Stevenson, a whirling dervish.
Influence that Alijah Martin has had on this team from a defensive perspective.
Toughness, for sure. Stevenson, Burnett. Was talked about a lot last year, the amount of sports Alex Condon played in Australia. As Dozier takes the contact. Well, redshirt this year, will not play, recovering from that fractured leg. Bell already has one from deep, the off-legged runner. Stick back is in for Bell. See, I learned from you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We work together enough where I've learned so many things you're saying over the years.
Or you just get tired of me saying it.
Gators 8th turnover. Cray trying to take over in the second half.
Sonny, you're right. And there was a courage, confidence about them. Reed into the paint once again. Martin, nice job contesting that. This one bouncing. Really solid depth in the front court and back court.
And what did we talk about at the start of this game and what Florida thought about it?
These players, though, they came together a little more than a week ago, a couple days after his passing, and they basically unanimous.
His building. In the corner, Meshack. Long on the three and off the fingertips of Tennessee. Now 4 turnovers. That in and of itself isn't a big number, but Florida has turned those 4 turnovers into 7 points. Clayton staying in front of Ziegler. Now Ziegler for 3.
And Junior gets some size on him. Still, he shot over him.
Sears, what a look. Stevenson open. Missed the 3, and Condon switches on to Sears. Stevenson in the corner, knocks down the 3.
He is an made him tough on defense. Griddle finally gets one to go from way outside.
At one point now they're toward the bottom of the 6 line, top of the 7. Certainly this win, a quad 1A road game if it were to happen.
Get up in the lane. See the starters for Alabama. 5th time that Nate Oates has employed this group. They're 2-2. Here's a 3 from the corner that's way off from Youngblood. Here we scored 25 or more, including 33 points at Kentucky.
The most impressive thing about Walter Clayton Jr. this year is how he's improved his defense. He top team from another league isn't going to win the championship this year. It doesn't mean Houston isn't going to win it or Duke isn't going to win it. That's not what I'm saying. But just an incredible league top to bottom.
Lawrence from the corner, no good. Tapped around a couple of times, right back to Lawrence. That won't go. Scramble for the ball. LeFew, Demery for 3, no good. Long rebound to Richard.
Wind it all the way back to Jacksonville. They beat South Florida on opening night. And we were talking to several of the assistant coaches, Todd Golden, in the most critical time of the game for Florida. And so number 2 in the nation, you know, if you're just looking at score.
Well, Fears just dances with that ball, doesn't he? You can see what NBA scouts see in that kid.
There's a long 3 from Goodine. Good.
He is having some kind of night. Gators with 19 assists as a team. Murray Boyle slings it outside. Ugasuk, no.
And Scott can shoot it. Gets open to opportunities.
Butler, the offensive glass.
Corner 3.
Miller inside. Well, right now Georgia's a better inside scoring team.
Great action to set up an open shooter, and the 3 is drilled.
Lives off that.
LeFew sets up Newell. Newell has basically been a jump shooter for much of this game. An outstanding freshman that has all those intangibles. One thing we know about NBA scouts, they look for that too. They'll ask the question, did he bring it every day?
Right in the front court, and the Gators falling back into his zone. Straight up top, it's a 3 ball from Davis. Chinyelu in the half court. Pringle, bellied up by Chinyelu. Kick out for an open 3. Kicks off the iron, and Clayton. He's on Condon. It's a good matchup right here. Murray Boyle says, I got this. Kicks it out, Conyers for 3. Got it. Great 2-man game that time.
Yeah, you cannot.
And he's got one quick trigger.
Julian Larry has taken over at point guard. Here's Tremont Mark for 3, and all of a sudden we got buckets galore.
Tremont Mark didn't join Texas.
We're already lined up halfway around the building. Corner 3. Short, but a foul. And Elijah Martin. Terry, we are going to have to be physical. This is a physical league, and it's a major adjustment to make when you're playing bangers like this every night.
Zoo has a response. 1 for 2. Great tap out that time by Cruz. Leads to a 3. Another tap out.
And you know this about Tennessee. They're one of the best in the country at getting that ball side to side. Multiple screens per possession.
Ziegler, no good. They're 0 for 5 from the floor to start this game. That was blocked. Now Gainey looks for a cutting Ziegler. Line drive 3, no. Meshack the rebound on the SEC network to Georgia by 9, Jimmy, in the second half, the Wildcats.
Yeah, not surprising. Georgia's another very good team out of this league. Wow, that's a bad miss.
Ziegler. They have done such a great job every time Tennessee is in the paint or throwing one up in the paint. There's a gator or 2 to chomp it away.
And that's what it's going to take. It's going to take body on body when every shot goes up.
Away again! The shot off. Now Carr. 5 on the shot clock. Robinson. Brea. Count it! Perry. In there to spell Butler again. Brea knocks down another one. Kobe Brea.
For this Florida team, how much of a blessing is it to have 3,000-point scorers?
Well, not only scorers, but the experience level.
Been up and down a little bit lately from the arc.
I'm telling you, this big guy's got some skills.
Ellison banks it in. It's open. The
He was
bank is open.
100% from 3. You can't tell by that shot.
2 uncontested threes with no resistance.
North Carolina looking for the answer, but a long one by Withers. Carolina looking for a hot hand. Will they get it from the corner? That one too strong. Off target by...
First class event this has been. The 3rd year of the 4 Jordan Brand schools.
Battle for the rebound. Clayton. Over the top, Washington. Tapped it. Withers. He'll hit a long one if he can, but he can't.
Back to Miller. Shot clock in single digits. Catch and shoot for Sandin, no good. Chinyelu the rebound.
You know, their percentage is not great so far this year, but they've made 14 threes in that Wichita State game, so they're certainly capable.
That's it right now. Instead, McNeely hoist from 3. Isaac McNeely, Virginia's leading scorer on the year at 13.3, only with 6 today. There's a good look. And there's his 3rd 3.
You have got to stay attached.
It was 9-1 yesterday on the year. The SEC 21-2 as McNeely hits a 3 against the AC. The only wins.
I'd like to see Quincy Ballard get the ball on the block right now. See if he can get something inside.
They got the 2 big guys out there, Wichita State does, and Xavier Bell. Richard came over to smother him. Back to Salas. Can he create? Puts it up. That 3 is offline. Condon had it knocked out. Winner faces Wichita State in the title game tomorrow at 3:30. Fredrickson watched it pop out after going.
Matthews bends inside. Lewis. Matthews will hoist.
But that was what doing, just not communicating. Put a body on a body, but they're so concerned and they don't want to switch a big on a guard, and they're being forced to do. He did. He's just scoring it on all 3 levels.
Ewan kicks to the corner. Jackson around and out. Houck skies for the rebound. Out of overtime elite in Atlanta, picked FSU over Georgia Tech. Well, they turned the 15th Florida turnover into...
Hubney says that a lot, playing off of 2 feet. Dozier, bullseye.
Cannot. It's on the perimeter. They did not have a year ago.
Game high, 13 points for Elijah Martin. Chris Arias skitters out.
Getting off to a fine start. But it has been South Florida's defense the story in the first half. Great look there. Extra pass, corner three. Adam Okoye. How about the ball move? Testing that. This one bouncing free. Who wants it? Reed comes up with it. Green for three. No.
Florida's got to handle, take bad shots, but if he's a consistent scorer, making shots outside, Florida's a dangerous squad.
Reed misfires. Richard, 35.
Into the passer, wound up making the play. 7 assists on 8 made baskets for the Volunteers, but they are down 9, and now a turnover. Ziegler lost it. Martin lays it in.
We talked about a lot. Richard has had a fantastic year.
Martin deflects it and then takes it away. Elijah Martin to Clayton.
Had his feet set, knew he was going to let that one fly when it hit his hand.
10th three for Florida so far here tonight, and here's the steal from Martin. Gators with a 4-on-3 break. Quigley puts it up and in.
There he is. You talked about the physicality in Martin with the steal.
Richard, bodied by Murray, and he will not be denied another. Kotzke, free throw jumper short. And there's no let up from the Gators. Martin laid off behind the back.
Alabama bench after the hit.
Alabama is top locking in the corner to keep Florida from being able to come off that dribble handoff action, and that means it's going to be a back cut.
Young tournament. They went away from the drop coverage in the second half. That cleared the way for an 18-point comeback. Are you surprised Taylor didn't come back in after the under 12?
Yeah, and expect
Georgia.
Here's Martin looking for some help. Finds it in Clay. No. Stretch that out. That cross-court pass just isn't going to work. Well, Walter Clayton Jr. absent up at the top of the key. Florida's denied both of those plays. Taken away. Martin fouled. He's heading to the free throw
to be the overall #1 seed. I mean, he has set the bar high, and they're capable, Ravi, of getting there.
Yes, they are. Fears had that one taken away. Here's Martin. The alley-oop to Chinyalu.
In league play to completely miss the rim. That's uncommon.
Bad pass. Boy, is that a mistake.
You know what? That's the 7-foot presence of Handlock, though, bothering that.
Really hard to figure out exactly what you can do for your players on the floor to make them make one extra play to get a win.
Thomas. That Kautz to Ugasuk. Back to Davis. Under 4 to go in the half. Martin.
He read that like a defensive back.
You read my mind.
In the paint, had 40 points in the paint in their first meeting. By the way, that matchup was the first time Tennessee and Florida met as top 10 opponents, and they do it twice in the same season.
Late. Turnover. Martin on a steal. Godfrey chasing and commits the foul. Gloves to race up and down the floor. Tough pass in traffic and another foul.
Well, that's a lucky foul there because that's going to be a touch.
Lawrence, the former Commodore, he throws it away. Again, Martin. Martin, showtime.
In the second half. Second straight game.
Yeah.
Well, that's just miscommunication.
Richard thought
for a pick six. There is no defense for that.
High ball turnovers will kill you.
And here's another one.
Another one.
And this will lead to another easy basket. Two just sloppy turn.
He's set. He's the secondary defender. He's there before the last foot leaves the floor. That's an easy call.
Another turnover on an inbounds pass.
Oh, you got to score that come into play with the foul situation of putting Carolina in the bonus. I'd be tempted to press him backcourt. Oh, quick steal.
It's another steal by Martin.
Four white jerseys and come down with a rebound. You can't just hit once in this league boxing off. You got to hit multiple times and not let a guy like Richard come in and get two easy ones.
Another Texas turnover
within the lines.
First couple of minutes, Arkansas was flying up and down the court. Now a little more half-court offense, and it's backfiring big time. Aberdeen, Flan got back, up and around and in. Get an open shot. They'll try to milk it a little bit. They shoot this with 8. It's Davis, and he still can't find it. Brazil, though, offensive rebound, and he lost it.
And Florida continues to put bodies on Boogie Flan when he drives the ball.
Good. 3 away. Meshack. That's the impact that Chinyalu has. And here it comes, and watch out for Martin. Oh, yeah! There it goes again. Every time the ball goes up, it's an alley-oop, and Condon disrupted it. Aberdeen.
No. Junior was the one knocking him down for Florida. But Florida tries to keep the ball to one side. They load to the ball. So if you can get it to the second side, you got an opportunity.
Boy, Martin just took it away from Owe, though. He hit it with 1 on the shot clock.
He is just a big-time shooter. Maybe that gets him going a little bit for Florida because he needs to get going.
Remember, he had 23 here in a win for the Gators last year.
Lost 10 of their last 11. Both of their wins coming against non-D1 schools.
Watch out.
Here's Martin. Look out below for a two-handed flush.
So I would say a really good team at 16th in the country with the way this offense can score. That puts them in the elite category.
Well, that's the kind of play I'm talking about. The presence of Martin.
Martin gets to the passing lane. 2-on-2. The Euro feathering. When you played, the buzz, like you said, right off the top, the buzz of hoops here in Gainesville is back. Again. And there's Martin with the slam.
He's like LeBron.
Half hook, way off the mark, and UNF clears. Stop and start, losing the handle. Miles turns it over.
I like James points getting on the glass.
Now Florida's schedule is going to really toughen up. The SEC is dominant as it is. 16 of their next 20 games will be against teams that are either ranked or receiving votes.
With a long misfire.
Well, he wants to win, right? And so scoring has been a big part of the way he's helped North Carolina win, and he's not shooting it well right now. So he's doing other things, and he's cognizant of that. That's what winners do.
They're giving themselves great opportunities to clean it up. Sandin had it stripped out of his hands by Martin all the way down the floor for the flush.
Tournament championship game. Looks like this is his best team here in year 3. Martin intercepts that pass from Rodia. Careless pass and an easy Florida takeaway.
Half Wichita State.
That is a prolonged drought. Cortez got blocked. Martin flicks it ahead. Clayton is running. Richard,
go get it!
Lob it up to here between a couple of squads that are absolutely projected to be in the top half and upper echelon of their respective leagues. Alijah Martin just took that one away from. So that one is now history. Okay, the safety, Alijah Martin.
Elliott has been quiet thus far. Looking for a ball screen. Shot clock under 5. Off the foot and out of bounds. That'll be a turnover. Davis
to shoot a 3-ball. You can get that shot later in the possession. Good
nice hands by Aberdeen. Gators with numbers. 4-on-3. Richard left it.
Offering them any time in a possession.
Aberdeen had his coming out party last year against Texas A&M in the SEC tournament. Alley-oop pass to
number 12 in white. Gators will move to 5-0.
Here's that disruptive guy again.
Starting 5 on the floor. Eason had it ripped away by Martin. Accelerates through, goes whoop. Burnett, like a wide receiver, had it ripped away by Richard.
Richard anticipated the Euro step.
She wants the Gators get into SEC play. He's waited his turn. Stevenson, a whirling dervish. Chinyelu. Bad look. Martin was right there. They'll run him off screens, right, Mark?
That's right. Nice job by Condon helping out.
Great defense from Clayton.
See, that'll never show up, but it was Condon's help. Thank you.
We work together enough where I've learned some of the things you're saying over the years.
Or you just get tired of me saying.
A leak out. Here's Martin. Showtime! This offseason, electing to come back to Florida, working specifically even more on his defense and that court vision that Mark talked about. Big takeaway. Another long lead. Richard, the slam! Talked a lot about Robert McCray, but he sure had his pick of the litter in the transfer portal. Some of his sisters go to Jacksonville University. That led to his decision to stick around. Maybe perhaps not take that NIL.
To run. Good execution. Good find by Clayton.
Solid night for Chinyelu. 6 points, 6 boards.
There's Martin again. Disruptive defensively.
Clayton.
Stroud on the move. Back to Reed. He's got the mismatch, trying to blow by Condon, threw it away.
Both coaching staffs emphasize getting back on defense. Way.
Williams goes by him, knocked away. Martin comes up with it. Martin to Richard. Richard.
You have a mismatch with Jamin Brakefield. He makes sure to play at his own pace. He can score in a phone booth.
Good help, D, by Alijah Martin with that block.
Sometimes it's make the safe pass and trust your offense. Oh. Boy, Demery just hit the deck.
Advantage of for much of the night. We'll see if this trapping defense forces another. It almost did. Condon right into our table. Down low, Murray Boyle's great feed to Pringle. Blocked away. And it'll be out of bounds to Carolina. And that.
Fland left, throws it up high. Ivisic goes and gets it. He's wrapped up down low. Now he falls back.
In the West Coast Conference from Gonzaga, he watched Mark Few's teams and admired how many big bodies he could rotate through. Brea, another rejection at the rim. And it's a shot clock.
Mismatch.
Great job there by Ruben Chinyelu.
Nowhere to go with 3. Senior with 1. It got blocked by Martin. Stifling defense.